like to call the May 21st.
Oh,
How's that?
hey.
I'd like to call the May 21st, 2019 meeting of the Board of Zoning Appeals to order. If you'd please stand, and Mr. Minnick, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Go Cubs.
Thank you. If I could get a roll call, please.
Melissa Mullins-Mishke.
Here.
Earl Cunningham.
Present.
Dwayne Hogan.
Here.
Glenn Minnick.
Here.
Greg Zabala.
Here.
Thank you. I will entertain a motion to approve the meeting minutes from April 16th.
But before we get into approving the motion for that, I just had a question for the attorney. You want to make it out here? And seeing how we're getting our the minutes are coming back in slightly abbreviated, and which is a very good job. Whoever did them, sent them out to us, just so that we're solid ground with the finding of facts, inclusion of law, in the event of something's been disputed.
Yeah, the minutes have traditionally been very descriptive and lengthy, but that kind of goes back to the time when the board did not do findings of fact and conclusions of law, number one. Number two, there wasn't video like we have now. The minutes are really supposed to be the actions taken by the board. So just make sure if there's something you want preserved in with regard to your deliberation or the reasons why you're making decisions a certain way. If you want to, we want to rely on the findings rather than the minutes. So if you want me to include something in the findings, just say so before you take your vote.
Okay? I just want to make sure that we're all clear with that, and also with the video evidence being as evidence now, we're still pretty good ground. So with that being said, I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes as written and distribute.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. So anybody here for petition number 9 this evening, the petition for variance of developmental standards for Robert McKean, Leah Dickey, and Todd McKean for the construction of a second dwelling to care for their elderly parents for the property located at 579 West, 900 North, LaPorte, Indiana, Springfield Township, Zoned A on 7.2 acres, as withdrawn this evening. So if you're here for petition number 9, you don't want to stay through the whole meeting to get to it. I promise you. Okay. Very good. Then let's start with petition number 1. Petition for variance of developmental standards for Ozinga Materials, Inc. for a 100-foot lattice-style self-supporting wireless communication facility. I'm talking, I don't see anyone coming up. But, okay. A wireless communication facility for broadband internet. There will be no co-locations on the tower and no shelters or buildings at the base of the tower for the property located at 2626 West, 1650 South Hanna, Indiana, Prairie Township, zoned ag on 30 acres. And we tabled them last month. So I need a motion to remove them from the table.
I'll make a motion to remove them from the table and hear them this evening. Second. Any questions or concerns?
Yeah, any questions, comments, or concerns? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Very good. Your name and address for the record as soon as Attorney BG tells us you're cleared.
The notice is adequate, and it turns out that they did receive clearance from the airport the day after our hearing last.
Imagine that.
I'm so sorry.
That's how it goes. No big deal. My name is Pat McCauley. I'm representing Ozinga and our company, MapleNet Wireless, 4561 Pine Creek Road, Elkhart, Indiana. Basically, Ozinga came to us with any broadband internet. They can't get connectivity to any of our sites without building a tower, and so we're here to ask for permission to build a 100-foot lattice-style tower on their property.
Are you going to have a fence around it, or is it going to just be contained? I don't have a drawing of it, so.
I can't remember if there's a fence in your variance or not, but if that's what is required, then that's
It's just going to be somewhere on their property?
Correct, yep.
I don't know exactly where. Do you know where it's going?
Do you have anything that shows us where on the property?
There should be a site plan in the packet I gave to the
attorney. He gets all the good stuff.
This is from last class. There's no mark on the next page.
It's right here. Yeah. Okay, 126.
So I'm guessing that this parcel is continuous with this one, since they're different places.
Yeah, from the last one.
Yeah, there's different ownership. Here. These are more private residences. I'm saying this is they own by themselves.
So you're going to have a secured private network on this running off your tower?
Just an internet connection for them, correct? Yep.
And where is it receiving its signal from?
We have several locations that kind of surround them within a 10-mile radius, so we're not 100% sure yet till we get up there.
Okay. Do I have any remonstrators this evening for petition number 1, either for or against petition number 1? Any remonstrators this evening? Any questions or comments from the board?
Not really.
If we don't have any additional comments or questions, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that the petition for a variance of developmental standards for Ozinga Materials, Inc. be granted for a 100-foot lattice-style self-supporting wireless communication facility, broadband internet. The property is located at 2626 West, 1600 South, Indiana Prairie Township, on 30 acres.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. Do we have any clarifications?
Quick clarification. I'd like to include the sentence, there will be no co-locations on the tower and no shelters or buildings at the base.
Sure.
And I just want to confirm, Glenn, that your motion is for the property located at 2626 West, 1650 Hannah.
Yes.
All right, I have a motion and a second. We're all cleared. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none.
Thank you.
All right, petition number 2 is a petition for variance of developmental standards for John Leslie to build an accessory structure 50 feet by 72 feet for residential use with a height of 24 feet to peak instead of the maximum 18 feet for the property located at 9051 West State Road 2, LaPorte, Indiana, New Durham Township, zoned ag on 1.01 acres. Thank you. Welcome this evening. If you present your legal work to our attorney.
That's supposed to be last time. I think so. Got it.
Probably let's go inside. So you know.
No, yeah.
Notice adequate.
Thank you. If you would, please, both of you state your name and addresses for the record.
I'm Stacy Brand Leslie. I'm wife of John Leslie, 9051 West State Road 2, LaPorte, Indiana, 46530.
John Leslie, 9051 West State Road 2, LaPorte, Indiana.
Thank you. And if you wouldn't mind, explain a little bit more about your petition for us and the need for the additional structure.
I have a structure now, but it's not tall enough to house my RV. I need the additional height for the RV, so. And the current structure is in
disrepair.
Yeah, it's pretty bad shape.
Are you going to remove the existing structure and
Yes.
replace it with something so we're not going to have two structures,
No.
two additional ones?
Okay. You gonna add water and electric?
No.
No.
Just electric?
Yes. And it will match the home.
The facade, everything will match?
Yes.
Yeah, same color.
We have a picture of it.
Oh, I'd love to see that. Thank you. Oh, Dwayne, you're going to love that.
Oh, no, this man. Big enough, finally.
Is that big enough?
Finally, someone's done it right.
Very good. Do I have any remonstrators this evening for petition number 2? Any remonstrators, either for or against petition number 2? If not, are there any other questions, comments, or concerns of the board?
Nope.
I I will entertain a motion then.
I'd be glad to in this one. Petition for variance of developmental standard for John Leslie to build the accessory building 50 by 72. It's a nice size. With residential use for height over 24 foot to peak instead of the minimum 18 feet. This property is located at 9051 West, that's Street, Road 2, LaPorte in New Durham, zoned on A at 1.0 acres.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I second.
All those in favor?
Question.
Go ahead.
Just for clarification's sake, I apologize, but it says for residential use, you're not intending anybody residing in this building.
No.
No.
I would
Amend it.
amend that we remove that for residential use. It's on residential property, but it's not for residential use.
It has to do with the setbacks.
It has to do with the setbacks, Earl, because it's zoned agriculture.
Right, but we don't want to make it look like there's ever going to be a residence.
This is one of them.
Correct.
Right, but we still have to establish that in the office when
It
you're
is a
filing.
residential property,
It's agricultural.
agricultural property, but it's not going to be for residential use, that building. We can include that in our motion.
Doug's gonna make sure that it's
It will be done.
noted properly in the
Finding
findings of
facts.
fact. So you're not going to be renting out
No.
or having living space in the building.
Then we
It's for
antique
cars.
cars
So
in
it's
it
for
and
clarification.
It's
Yeah.
not for agricultural use.
Just the way
Otherwise,
it's
it would have
The way
different
it's
setbacks.
worded, they
all
could
like
put a
residential.
loft in it and rent it out.
We
That's
have
my
to do it
concern.
this way so that, because of setbacks.
Well, the petition and findings don't have to match, Jen, so I'm just going to say for storage use only and
Thank
delete
you.
residential.
There you go.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Hearing none. You're passed. Good luck.
Thank you.
Petition number 3 is for variance of developmental standards for John Medway to construct a carport 20 feet by 30 feet without having a residence. To be used for personal storage, the property is located between 4752 East and 4784 East, 100 South, LaPorte, Indiana, Pleasant Township, zoned ag on 2 acres. I just want to remind everybody in the audience that for those of you who've never been to a Board of Zoning Appeals meeting before, we don't take public comment. You have an opportunity when it's time to remonstrate to speak on a petition. I did see someone with their hand up in the back, but once we have a motion on the floor, you're not allowed to speak. So just a point of clarification.
Do you have the newspaper publication itself? Well, you gave me the
No, I
receipt.
don't have that.
Annie, do you have the cutting from this one?
Yes.
No plans.
Okay. Notice is adequate.
What is the point? That it may
Record's cleared.
the only thing it doesn't make.
All right. Would you state your name and address for the record, please?
Name's John Meadway. My address is 306 Nile Street, LaPorte, Indiana.
So there are lots.
John, I have to ask, what are we putting out there that we're not going to put up a residence first?
Well, I have 2 of them right now, and I live in one, so I'm just going to put that there for storage so I can store some things there. And we'll eventually, came to the people next door want to sell their place now. I just found out Easter Sunday. So I'm waiting on a price. She said 3 to 4 months. So I'm just putting my stuff in a place where I can have my lawnmowers. And,
Is this going to be like those man toys?
No.
Like 4-wheelers, snowmobiles, stuff like that?
This is for storage, personal storage. That's all it is.
Are you planning on putting electric and water in it?
Electric at some point, unless I get the property next door, and I'm very interested in that. That's actually a 2-unit, and I already talked to the lady. She's going to be first bid on it, so things could change. I might run electric off their barn over to the one I'm going to put up. So I got to wait 3 or 4 months down the line here to see what they're doing. But I still need my storage building up in the meantime.
You looking at 20 by 30?
Well, it actually went up to 30 by 30.
Do you have any little drawing of it or rendering of it? I mean, when we hear carport,
It's not a carport, it's a building. It's still port, not a carport. I don't know why she put carport on there.
the petition is asking to construct a carport 20 by 30.
It's a still structure building.
It's not a carport.
with a lean-to.
A lean-to, I would call a carport.
So do you have a picture or a drawing or a
Not with me.
rendering
I
of what it
forgot to bring
is?
it.
So it's 30 by 30, then the carport off to the side of that?
It's going to be on the back.
On the back side of it?
Yeah.
Pole barn, basically?
Yes. They have a door on it, service door and a regular door.
What size door?
Just a 12-footer by 8.
So it's 30 by 30 plus the lean-to, or?
No, that's total.
Mm-hmm. 20 by 30 carport. No, I haven't. Where is it? So that's what you took right off here. Yeah.
Do I have any remonstrators this evening for petition number 3? Anybody for or against petition number 3 and would like to speak? What other comments, questions, and concerns do we have as a board?
I guess just a little more clarification of what it is. It's going to be an all-steel structure. It's not a pole barn. So
No, it's all
that's
steel.
why you're calling it a carport.
That's why she
Is
put
it
that
a
down.
kit? Are you building it yourself?
No, they're building it. I have one of my properties now, and they just come in, they put it up, and it's all steel. Yeah, I'd rather have that than a pole. Right.
Cement floor.
No, I'm just doing gravel right now.
Gravel
So
floor.
I got to figure out what they're going to do next door first.
My next question would be, are you setting this back far enough from the road that if
Oh,
you
yeah.
ever decided to build a residence, you would be in
Oh,
front
we
of
already
it?
got that in plan. Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's
Thank you,
way
sir.
off the back. I already put my driveway in. It's mud right now, but
Yeah, that's what it looked like when I was out. I saw it.
there's a bunch of mud right
I saw the
now.
mud.
No, I think I
But if we don't get the house next door, we're gonna build there eventually. So.
Well, you're going to build.
Okay, do we have any additional comments, questions, or concerns? My only concern, and I'll just say it, is we've approved this kind of thing before in the past, and it's turned into like a fun spot for everybody to go, like I said, with four-wheelers and disrupt the neighbors next door. So that's my only concern. You've said that you're planning on building at some point a residence at that location, but I hate to see it. We approve it, and you have the storage that you need, and then groups of individuals.
If I end up building on that land, I'm going to build a bigger barn than what. That's just for.
We'll deal with the
small
bigger
things.
barn when you get to that point. But
yeah, I'm just saying.
that my experience is when people don't live on the property, but they're storing equipment, that there are times when you might gather and.
My plan is to move out of the city, so that's why I bought the property.
Okay.
It just takes a little bit of money to do what you got to do.
I think her basic concern is that you're not out there racing 4x4 with your buddies. Okay.
No.
Very good. All right. If there are no additional comments, questions, or concerns of the board, I'll entertain a motion.
Madam President, I'd move that we approve the petition for the variance of developmental standards for John Meadway to construct a carport 30 by 30 without having a residence on that property. This will be used for personal storage. Property is located at 4752 East 47. It's in between 4752 East and 4784 East 100 South, LaPorte, Indiana. Pleasant Township, Zone A on 2 acres.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it, Earl.
I have a motion and a second, and I just want to make sure that you get an address sign out as soon as possible. Should this get passed?
I need to.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you'll talk with the building commissioner's office about getting an address.
Okay.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Okay, good luck.
Okay, can I get one more question? Okay, we're done.
Yep, yeah. Contact the building commissioner's office. Thank you. Okay, let's move right along. Someone keeps reminding me the Cubs game is on. So petition number 4 is for a variance of developmental standards for Toby H. and Jennifer L. Schweitzer for construction of a third accessory structure, 60 feet by 230 feet. Oh, you like that?
That's nice.
With an indoor horse arena for personal use with a height of 20 feet instead of the maximum 18. And the property is located at 4059 North, 350 East, Rolling Prairie, Indiana, Kankakee Township, zoned R1B on 5 acres.
They had utilities in for horse arena, didn't they? This tells where it's at.
Annie, do you have the clipping on this one?
60 by 120. This one says 60 by 230.
That's what I'm looking at.
Is this Schweizer?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I don't for this one.
Okay. Do you have the proof of publication? You gave me an email from Kyle Media, but I need what was actually published. They usually send you an affidavit of publication.
That's just what we were given. I don't know.
Well, the affidavit publication shows me what they published. I've got to look at to see what they published to make sure it complies with the statute. You didn't get anything else?
No, my wife did it. I work out of town, and so.
All right, we're gonna have to set this over next month so you can bring that in. We got to have it. Statutory requirement. Madam President?
Yes.
Notice the neighbors is adequate. However, we have no proof of publication. So, but unless you can get her to get it here.
I was gonna look up, see if I.
How about I just maybe move you to the bottom, and if you find it, we can squeeze you in at the
I
end.
don't know how it ever did. I mean, unless we pull out a copy of it.
No, they're supposed to mail you. It's called an affidavit of publication, okay? And what they say in that affidavit is that they swear that they published it, and this is what they published, okay? So she may have it at the house, okay? I'm going to keep this for the record, okay?
So we're just going to move this petition down to the bottom of the agenda, and if Mr. Schweitzer finds this publication, we'll just squeeze him back in. Okay, so we're moving on to number 5. The petition for variance of developmental standards for Dave Lewis, the Wheelchair Shop, Inc., to add onto the existing building 10 feet, which encroaches on the side 10 feet setback on the south side. And this property is located at 3944 North Frontage Road, Michigan City, Cool Spring Township, zoned B3 on .195 acres.
Hello.
Good evening. Do you have your legal work for our attorney?
Yes. What all do you need?
The whole folder.
Yeah, proof of publication, notice to the adjoining property owners, and.
I'll show you.
Yeah, I didn't know these aren't accurate, but
You can see it.
Okay, it's a representation.
That's already got this much of it. That's all. I think they have one, but he doesn't. So we'll see when he goes to petition.
Notice is adequate.
Thank you very much.
Surveys tell the story. That's what I wanted to see.
If you would state your name and address for the record, please.
I'm Dave Lewis, 3944 North Frontage Road, Michigan City. The address is the Wheelchair Shop.
Okay.
Just looking for variance to
You just need to speak up.
extend my building over 10 foot to the property line, which is going to be right at the property line. So that's just the variance we need. But we also need to make sure it's okay with ORAC, that they're okay with that because it's their property line. So I don't want to. We've already got an agreement that my shed kind of goes on their property and they're okay with it as long as I donate to their cause, which is fine. I just want to get my building to my property line off of theirs, and it'll give me more inside room to work. So that's pretty
Dave,
much
are you going to remove that shed
Yes. Yeah.
when you do the addition?
Yeah.
And have you had a survey done of the property so we know exactly that you're encroaching?
They did last year when the hospital came in, but I can go get another one. So
No, I'm just curious if you've had one done.
I haven't done it yet.
We'll see what they say.
You said you're going to take that down so they won't be encroaching on their property at a line at all?
No, right. No, I'm
Going to be on back on the wheelchair side?
The shed is going to be gone. We're going to take it out and just extend my building. And there's a rendering up there of what we're going to do.
Very cool.
And
Real cool.
I just wanted to make sure it's okay with you guys to do that and them as well.
So you're virtually going to be right on the property line.
So just standing there. So there's a line.
And that rendering is not quite scaled just because it's a 10-foot door, which, you know, I just tried to copy that and put it over a little bit, so it just kind of gives you an idea what it's going to look like similar.
You know, every time I go by, I notice there are just a lot of vehicles there.
We have a lot of wheelchair.
Are those all the ones that are getting worked on, or?
We're selling them.
Okay.
And worked on. Half of them are we're working on them for customers, the other half for sale.
Okay.
They're wheelchair adapted vans, correct?
Yeah.
All right. Do we have any remonstrators this evening for petition number 5? Anyone who wants to speak in favor of or against? If you want to come up to the podium and express your concerns, I'd like your name and addresses for the record, please.
Do you need this papers? This is a plot drawing by we got a survey. I'm Don Plummer, representing Orac Shrine, 4241 West Crestview, LaPorte. We are opposing this petition for the simple reason that you can see on the drawing, we had a survey done. We've had problems with Mr. Lewis encroaching on our property for quite a while. So we had a survey done, and he's asking for 10 feet. And according to our survey, he only has 8.21 feet to the actual property line at the back of his building. It doesn't sit quite straight. So we are against that because you don't have that. And also, as you mentioned, the cars that are out in front, it looks like a used car lot. And I have some pictures on my phone, but I didn't have others, that since we have an agreement by his attorney and our attorney that says he would not encroach on our property, and he has for the last year and a half. And there's been cars, it's over 20 feet over the line. And so that's why we're against giving him right to the line, because we're afraid he's going to continue to go over the line on us.
And give them an inch, they take a mile.
That's what we're thinking. That's what's been happening.
Okay.
We tried to be a good neighbor, and we gave him half of what his half of his building, his rental bill or his shed was over our property, and we decided we would be a good neighbor and let him keep it there. But all these cars keep adding up and other things, and we don't know what's going to happen. On just the other day, he had some work done, and contractors came in with trucks and trailers, and we've got big ruts in our ground because it's so soft out there, and they went right through our property again. So we assume it's going to continue on, and we don't want that happening.
Okay. Do you have anything additional you'd like to add?
No, but I'll put my name down.
Okay, that would be wonderful.
Wayne Hodgetts Jr., 5520 Chase Street, Maryville, Indiana. And I'm one of the board members at Orac Shrine.
And you have the same concerns?
Yes.
Your board has taken official action, and this is you're representing that board?
Yes, we are. And we have a signed agreement here by Mr. Davis that said he would not encroach on our property, and he does. I turned it in.
Attorney has it.
Oh, this is...
Our attorney made sure that we gave you that agreement. It's hard to see those print. I have a bigger print if you need the plot.
I would like to see it if you don't mind.
We had it done by Global after we had some problems. Oops, excuse me. Might have to open it up. I'm not sure which side of the print it is. A little print is hard to see. I think farther over there's a bigger one. If you unfold it a little bit more, you can see it gives just the actual corner of the property. I'm not sure which side. There it is on that side. It makes it a little easier to see. This was by Global surveying that was done in 2017 when we had our first confrontation with Mr. Lewis.
Okay. Earl,
We'll take a look.
Greg, do you guys want it? I can do that. Agreement? Yeah, sure.
There's also, I might note, that between the shed and the building right now, there's this gas meter, which is right directly between it, and there's only 40 inches between that, so that would have to be also moved.
Do you want to come down and look at it?
That's where it's...
Sorry.
He has asked us if we would sell, and our board said they did not want to sell. That's fine.
Especially not here. Thank you. I appreciate bringing that.
Yeah, that was a nice blown up picture. See, they're better than the little one.
Okay, do we have any additional remonstrators for this petition? Anybody else that would like to speak on the petition for the wheelchair shop? Okay, if you guys, gentlemen, would have a seat, we'll have you come back up.
I guess I do have a question, though. Before you get too far away there, Don, there's no other property for sale for them to buy to make that any bigger from Orax Shrine?
No.
Okay.
His property has 10 feet to the back of his building to our property. He's a little section. And going the other way, I don't know who owns it now, but that was Bob Evans, and that's all asphalt.
Oh, the other way, yeah.
Yeah, north is all Bob Evans, so. Pardon? There's only 8 foot.
8 foot.
Well, by the surveyor, it doesn't say. It says there's an 8 foot there. You have 10 foot on the back of the building to our property line.
So on the west side of the building is the 10 feet.
10 foot west.
On the south side is...
South side is only 8.
8.4...
8.21.
8.21.
When I bought it, it was 10.
Sorry.
Well, unfortunately, they have a survey that's going to...
And they're not willing to sell no property.
Okay. So, with no further remonstrance, do we have any questions, comments, or concerns of the board before we make our vote? And if not, I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion for you. The petition variance for developmental standard for Dave Lewis, aka the wheelchair shop, to add an existing building 10 feet, because it encroaches 10 feet on the setback on the north side, located at 3944 North Frontage Road, Michigan City, in the Cool Spring Township, on .195 acres, be denied for the fact there's not substantial enough property for him to put it in there without encroaching on the Orax Shrine property.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Just to be clear, we're all voting to deny the petition. So all those in favor of denying, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Okay, motion carried.
Thank you.
Unfortunately.
See you, John. Sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you. How you doing?
Okay. Petition number 6 is a petition for variance of developmental standards for Theodore Hansen for construction of a second accessory structure 30 feet by 62 feet and placed to the side of the home instead of the rear for the property located at 17 North Williams Road, Westville, Indiana, Cool Spring Township, zoned ag.
He's out there. Huh? He's out there. Yeah. He's out there. Yeah, look at that. Mm-hmm. There's some water. Right there's a pool. That was. Is it in the packet?
No, it's adequate.
This is good.
Thank you. If you would please state your name and address for the record, please.
Theodore Hansen, 17 Williams Road, Westville, Indiana, 46391.
All right. And your name, ma'am?
Sandra Hansen.
Okay.
17 Williams Road, Westville, Indiana.
And I understand, looking at your property, it's kind of a weird configuration on a corner, which is why you're requesting the building to the side lot.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to explain that a little bit more for us?
So actually, since we did that, it's going to be...
Okay, I'm making that part up. Let's listen.
Did you
well, all the houses on are 2-acre lots, and all of the houses are positioned on the right side. So we were going to just put a storage building on the left side, but originally we were going to try to put it like closer towards even with the house, but we are going to go back and be behind the house, but just.
Right.
Your front will be behind the house now?
Yeah, we're just going to move it straight back, just so it's behind the house now. Yeah.
Where's your septic and well located?
The building's not going to be. It's still to the left, but it's going to be positioned back behind. But the septic is right behind the house.
Okay.
The front of the new building will be approximately even with the back of the existing home.
It'll be right here.
Approximately. It'll be a little bit farther back, but just.
So it'll be even further back than even. It's like,
right, yeah.
Right.
Not much, but yes.
Yeah.
If you change the location since you filed your petition, do you disagree? I don't think they need a variance.
Neither do I.
They're going to be to the rear of the house.
I didn't hear that, Doug. I was putting the papers in order here.
From the time they filed the petition, now they're going to put it to the rear of the house.
Oh, I didn't.
And they're an egg. I don't think they need a variance.
No, they don't. I didn't know that.
Oh, because she said that. Okay.
Well, when you wanted to put to the side of the house, you needed a variance for that. But now that you're going to move it behind the house, you're fine. You don't need anything.
Oh, well, perfect.
Okay.
Wow, that's even better. That Cubs game's getting closer.
The only thing is that you may need to go to the county for a second driveway permit because your rendering shows you're putting a drive from the road.
Yeah.
So, and I actually don't think.
That'd be their questions.
Yeah.
Doesn't that actually take a variance?
No. The driveway permit's from the county highway department.
Well, not anymore, Melissa. We do.
No? You guys do?
Mm-hmm. And there has to be so many. There has to be so many feet between the two drives.
Right.
You need a variance for that, or
check it out with us.
Okay.
Gotcha.
It's all county highway.
Where would that? What department are you?
That's us.
The building department.
Building.
All right.
Okay, so I don't really want to
call it a happy day.
dismiss, but thank you for coming in tonight.
Good to see you.
Good luck.
Okay, that was easy.
That's like the Staples button right there.
Okay.
This is the one that had to steal from the Quonset building next to the house.
I know.
Okay, Okay, petition number 7 is a petition for variance for use for David Kessling Cellar and Journey Church Ministries, Inc., buyer for construction of a building to be a church facility. The property is located next to 1755 North, 500 West, LaPorte, Indiana, Center Township, zoned ag on 12.24 acres. So if you will come and bring your legal work to our attorney, please.
This one's yours.
It is, thank you.
Oh, I don't know. That's a good question. You're doing great.
Oh, listen, like north.
We do.
It's a tough seat to fill. I thought that one was tough. This is tougher. Yep.
Ministries, Schweizer. Put that up here.
It's in the sign. It's out there. Yeah, he's at the property for sale or something. That's what I thought.
This is the long one.
The scale, materials, the pending final survey. North from site. New renderings here for everybody. Remember that?
Notice that.
North is up.
Thank you. If you would please give me your name and address for the record.
My name is Cheryl Lewis, 3598 West Schultz Road, LaPorte.
I'm sorry, your first name again?
Cheryl, S-H-E-R-Y-L.
Thank you. I apologize.
That's okay.
So we're looking to purchase some property and put a church on it.
Correct.
Why don't you tell us a little bit more about the plans and see if we can answer some questions for everybody in the audience as well.
Okay. Again, my name is Cheryl, and I am actually the realtor and a member of Journey Church. Okay, so I'm here representing both the buyer. Tim is also here as representing the buyer, and Mike Kremp is the agent for the seller, Mr. Kessling.
Okay.
Okay, so we're all here. Currently, Journey Church is renting a parcel, a property owned by Indiana Paging Network on Johnson Road, and we've been there for 4 years. When we bought the property, we didn't buy it, excuse me. When we rented the property, it was with the intent of a temporary facility. We've put quite a bit of money into just fixing it because it was in very disrepair. We now, like 4 years later, we would like to purchase the property over here on 500 West. We feel that the church itself would be a benefit to the community. Our intention is it would be a place of quality and excellence. It's not our intention to put up some shack that would be detrimental to the surrounding area. We are quite aware of, as a realtor, I'm quite aware of the properties around there, and I can understand any concerns that those people may have. Like I said, we've been active in the community for 4 years. We continue to maintain a positive attitude, representing both LaPorte County and the community. We picked this parcel because it was larger enough. We didn't want to move into a little parcel where we're squashed. We'd like to keep as in the diagram up here, our intention, this is, of course, we have to hire a general contractor.
Ms. Lewis, just make sure you're still in the microphone while you talk to us, even if you have to swivel it around, please.
From in the box. Stand up. Okay, so
Very nice.
Our intention was to buy a parcel that we could maintain a lot of green space around it. Okay. The building, we actually went ahead and footprint a larger building. We figured let's ask for big. We may not be that big, but nonetheless.
Okay, and adequate parking. We understand that there'll be a time when this building is built that, we're going to be absorbing a lot of property or a lot of land here, and we'd have natural water flow coming through here, so most likely we'll have a detention pond, and I understand all that'll come into when we get to the building development. Okay, I know that's premature, but just to make you aware that we're aware. Okay, talking to different contractors that specialize in church construction, we feel that it's probably going to be an estimate be $1.5 million to possibly $2 million project. That's another add-on to the area infrastructure. So it's, I said, we're not putting up a pole barn. So we're asking for this use variance. The use variance is a contingency to our purchase. We have not purchased the property. It's contingent upon your approvals.
Please, because I want to read. Yeah.
The parcel that is carved out where there is an existing home.
The last question.
That's in the legal. That's an exception to that.
Right.
Yes.
Is the owner here of that parcel?
Doesn't want to start building.
1755.
He said there's no access. There's no
On the side of the property.
time. These two people have the variance until they get a building tonight.
He would have been here, but he has to work from 2 to 11.
Okay.
That area, as you can see in the diagram, there's actually two parcels there. There's a much larger parcel Mr. Kessling owns further to the north. That is not what we're interested in. That if you drive by there, you'll see a large wet area, wetlands. Well, there's some wetlands on that property, but it's quite damp there. The area that we're looking at is closer to this other house, and it's higher elevations. You can see by the diagram there's some natural green, trees, scrub, things like right there. Our intention is to, utilize that as an area that we would go between, keeping the building toward the back, again for aesthetic purposes.
I just wanted to make the comment to you that you, in your formal request to the board, asked that you could have an extension for the use variance to be valid for 2 years. And Doug told me that is not an issue at all.
Okay,
Ours
then
are open-ended.
whatever you were to decide.
If it's decided,
stays with
that variance is between you and the owner at this time, and it would go beyond 2 years.
All right.
Okay. Do we have any remonstrators tonight for this petition? So what I'm going to ask, if we have multiple people to come up one at a time, I'm going to ask you to state your name and address for the record. And if you hear somebody in front of you give one of your concerns, go ahead and move on to the next one so we're hearing all new information, if you would, please. Okay, if you'll have a seat, we'll have the first one come up. Good evening.
Hello, my name is Ronald J. Reagans. I live at 1800 North, 500 West. I have a few pictures here I'd like to bring forward.
Please.
Showing some concerns regarding intersections and the drainage issues in our area. The water from the intersection of Johnson Road and the Summit Farm runs down, it's all downhill, comes all down there, it settles in the property at 1906, 500 West, and 1800 North, 500 West, our property, and the Edwards property to our south, one property to our south. I've had water in my driveway 2 feet deep in rainy seasons and during the snow melt. I've seen it up 2 feet up the side of our transformer, which is our pad mount transformer, which is quite a concern. I'm going to spend, my wife Sally and I, who also lives there, excuse me, I'll pay for that later. We're going to spend thousands of dollars this year to try to remediate some of that water because it's a real problem. And we had some work done last year. We're going to have additional work done this year. If you look at the pictures, there are two troublesome intersections. The intersection of Johnson Road, 250 and 500 West, and the intersection at the toll road overpass, which is 500 West, 150, where those roads converge and change directions. Without some sort of a traffic plan, a drainage plan, somebody saying we're going to build a retention pond is not enough for me, and I'm in vehement opposition to this unless there's some sort of a plan that satisfies myself and the other property owners around us. There are also, looking at the Journey Church calendar, there are roughly 2 months we looked at 15 either services or meetings per month, and that's a potential disturbance to our quiet neighborhood there. So we have great concerns about that. I'm sure some of my neighbors may share some of the same things. So,
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. I can say that if this were to be approved and during the planning phase, they would work with the building department and our MS4 coordinator to address drainage and water runoff, and that would be with Rick Brown, our MS4 coordinator. And the intent of that is to keep each property owner's drainage on their own property. So this might be an opportunity actually to improve the drainage in that area. I'm not certain because we're not in that phase yet, but just as a comment. Who's next?
I'm Tom Edwards. I live at 1656 North 500 West, which is right across the street from the proposed church. And I have to say I'm disappointed with the church leadership because they had an opportunity, I think, to gather the immediate residents together and tell us their plans. We know nothing about it other than the papers we were served notifying us of this meeting. Main concern is the drainage, but then in addition to that, this is commercial development. I don't get profit. For-profit, nonprofit is commercial development. There's a lot of acreage between where we live and farmland until you get to Summit Farm. Opens the door for additional commercial development. Our road, I don't think, can really stand that. It's already a well-traveled road because it's the quick way from Johnson Road to State Road 2 West. And Ron had mentioned the intersections, which can be a problem. What we don't know, how large is the church, how many members, how big is this parking lot going to be, how many cars can we expect to be in that parking lot on Sundays and during the week when they have other worship services. In addition to that, just would be the south end of their property, which would be just north of 1755, is what appears to be a wetland. It's wooded, and it's always wet, and I don't know where that fits in terms of their plans at all. And I think, personally, of course, I'm not county engineer or anything, but there ought to be an acceleration, deceleration lane put in, which on 500 West doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but I mean, if there's a lot of traffic here, people moving in and out of that church, that's a problem. So we're concerned primarily the traffic, the drainage, and opening it up for commercial development. So, thank you.
Mr. Edwards, I would hand over one of these if you'd like to share it in your group back there and maybe pass it around. It does show proposed parking spaces, and again, remember that's all proposed. Okay. If that helps with any of your additional concerns. Do we have any additional remonstrators this evening with new concerns?
I just have
sorry.
Yep, state your name and address for the
Sarah
record.
Lane, 5109 West, 150 North.
Okay.
I live on the corner of 500 and 150. Him and I both have a pond. It gets flooded constantly, and so the drainage is a concern for me. And my husband also, it's the intersection. We do live in a quiet area, just as they have stated, and we would like to keep it that way and not be having cars, even more traffic than there already is.
Okay, thank you. You can come forward, please.
Tara Grinnell. I live at 4997 West 150 North in LaPorte, so I'm one of the neighboring that received notice. I just really wanted to be on record as also being a remonstrator, and primarily for the traffic concern. My house sits right at that intersection that Mr. Edwards was referencing of 500 and 150 North. Right, that's my house right there, and I see that curve right there and the traffic issues that I've already heard from my own home when accidents happen there.
Thank you. Good evening.
Sally Swanson. I'm at 1800 North, 500 West. You heard from my husband earlier. I just wanted to add a little bit to this. If you look at the road from Holton and Waverly to Johnson Road, it's in very bad disrepair. It always is. And I think a lot of it has to do with the moisture that's in the ground. And if you come off of 500 or 150 to get on to 500, because 500 comes from Pinola, it's dangerous. You pull off on 500 and you have to look quick both ways to determine if something's coming around the bend or something's coming under the toll road bridge. Mm-hmm. So it's just not set up for a lot of traffic. And by the county's own admission, Johnson Road and 500 West and 250 is not set up for any kind of traffic. And where all that's going, I don't know. And the pictures that we gave you, I highlighted all of the areas that are swampy, wet areas. And if you look through that whole area, there's many of them. And where the water comes from, I have no idea. The summit is supposed to be the highest point in the county. We're not that much lower than Summit. So where it all comes from, I don't know. But I think if that, has there even been a soil test done? You know, there's a lot of clay there, which means there's not a lot of drainage. And if you put blacktop in, obviously you're preventing that.
Impervious surfaces.
And
correct.
if the church is nonprofit, that's going to take it off, all that property off the county tax roll too. So I give you something else to think about. Okay?
Thank you. Sally, don't be too hard on your husband. He didn't mean to forget you.
Yeah.
Thank you. You brought up some very good points. All right, last call for remonstrators. Anybody for or against? Okay, hearing none, I'd like to hear any questions, comments, or concerns of the board.
That's what I thought, crickets. It's a lot to digest this fast with the remonstrators.
I'm a frequent user. Excuse me. I'm a frequent user of 500.
As am I.
Coming in, I come down Johnson and then take 500 to get to 2, come into LaPorte from the west side. And I certainly concur with all of the concerns related to water and traffic coming under the bridge and around that curve. It's highly dangerous. I've seen numerous accidents and near accidents. So just from an experience of driving that several times a week, I understand that.
I echo those concerns.
It is a valid concern, the safety.
Yes.
Can she speak to the?
Yes, please come back up and we'll address some of those concerns.
I mean, all those concerns are valid, definitely. And if I were living on that street, I'm sure I'd have the same concerns.
Okay, make sure we get you in that microphone so that everybody can hear. All right.
But I'd like to point out that, with the development of the church, I would definitely suspect that the Planning Commission would definitely, us putting a building up, those irrigation issues, those water issues may, like you said, be improved. We're going to look at that water going through. The final development plan is going to have to address that, and I would hope that it would actually help that whole area. Because I know where it goes back, it goes across the street there and it hits right there in that corner. It gets right low there. I've seen it myself.
Right.
So I would definitely hope that in the final development plan that all that would be addressed and it would be definitely an improvement. As far as the traffic, right now, they were commenting. I can tell you what today is, a snapshot in time. I can't tell you what the future is. But naturally, when a church is building, they're with the anticipation of what the future might be. All right. Currently, we have maybe 40, 50 cars on a Sunday. As far as our weekday services, we have a small group of ladies that probably 6 or 8, I'm going to say maybe 80s ladies that meet on a Monday.
It's too much to...
You've got maybe 6 or 8 cars on that Monday. Wednesdays, there's a Bible study. There's probably a half a dozen people there. Okay? This is not a big church. It is hopefully a church that will grow. Okay? But as far as seeing a huge influx of traffic, it's going to be some time. Unless, we're not building the Crystal Cathedral. Okay? We're not a huge mega church. Okay? We are a community church. And our concerns are for the community. We are community people. We take pride in our community.
How many events do you have per month? Are they outside events? Can you give us some more information on that?
We have Sunday morning service. One service, Sunday mornings, 10 o'clock. Okay, so you have people coming in between 9:30, leaving by 11:30, 12 o'clock, by the time stragglers leave. Okay, one Sunday morning. We have an average of when services are low, maybe 80 people. We have a lot of people. Right now, the building we're in maximum holds 135 people upstairs. Okay, and that's usually holidays. Okay, sometimes on holidays we'll have 2 services. Like I said, Monday evening, there's a small group that meets Bible study. On Wednesdays, there is a small Bible study group. And I do say small, I'm saying under 12 people usually. Okay? Thursday nights, there's a group of young adults that meet at board games. Okay? That may be 12, 15 people. Okay? On Sunday afternoons, every other Sunday, it's a youth group that meets between 4 and 6 o'clock, and that's our high schoolers. So we're not a big church. There's a lot bigger churches all around us, okay? I'm not going to say we don't want to grow to be a bigger church, but that isn't even our concern. Our concern is our outreach to the community and reaching the people that are in church and hoping they'll find a place, okay? But yes, we're not coming in there. We don't want to be a detriment. We don't want people, when we're building up a building, we don't want our neighbors to think, oh, here comes the people from Journey. We'd like to be able to embrace the community. We'd like them to embrace us. And when we get to the planning stage, the planning commission, I'm sure all those issues, those important issues of the drainage, of the parking, of the traffic, they're going to have to be brought up and they're going to have to be addressed.
And that's exactly where I'm going to go with my comments then. Is I would like to see us revisit this topic and not make a vote tonight, because I don't feel like there's enough engineering planning that has been done to provide us with the concerns that we have as a board and the citizens that are surrounding the property as well. I don't have any idea what the structure might look like. It could be if you let me speak, please. It could be a metal building. It could be a brick building. I have no idea what kind of style. Is it going to fit in with the neighborhood? And I'd like to see you maybe work a little bit more with the adjoining property owners in developing those plans so that they feel more included. That's my personal thought.
Okay.
We agree.
And understood. Our only concern is We wrote an offer to Mr. Kessling with a contingency of the use variance, okay? For the church now to put in additional thousands of dollars at the risk of, I don't know if that's good due diligence either, because literally thousands of dollars.
I would ask this question, maybe our attorney could answer. If your contingency is purely on a use variance, which we grant,
correct,
and then you can't meet all these other requirements, you bought the land and can't use it for a church.
That's true.
That's a bigger gamble than spending $1,000 or two now.
You tell us we can build a church, then we have to be able to build a church in accordance to what the county stipulates, correct?
Here's the problem we have.
I mean, it's a cart before the horse. I'm not sure.
Here's the problem we have. I also represent MS4, or my office does. Okay, that area, I know that area very well. The neighborhood has water issues. Okay, I also know that road, and I traveled down that road many, many times. And if the board grants the variance, it goes to the building permit stage. Her office, Annie's office, is only going to look at that parcel. That's it. It's not going to look at the surrounding parcels and how the total area is affected. So you're never going to have, if the board grants this request, there's never going to be a global view of that geographic area or that neighborhood. Okay, because you have several departments that are involved. You've got not only the building department, you have MS4, but MS4 only is unless there's a permit issue surrounding that, they normally won't go out. They'll look at ways to handle water. But you also have county highway involved, okay? So, but the granting of the use variance will not trigger any of those departments or events.
Right.
So if there's a neighborhood issue on water, I would suggest neighborhood action in cooperation with MS4, county highway, and try to see if we can't channel or move some of that water for better purposes in the area. And I know the county's done that before, and usually in a subdivision, but the county's done that before. We just did it out on the island. We had a big problem out there. So I just want the board to be clear that if you grant, that's not going to trigger these other things. Okay?
Thank you.
They're not ready.
Do you want to put that in a motion?
I don't know.
Hypothetical question for our attorney. If we approve this evening and they make the purchase and then they go out there and do a soil testing and so forth, they can't even get a septic system for that many people, would that then deem the property unusable for the church?
Yep.
Yeah. And see, that's my concern. If you're basing your purchase of the property on our approval,
that's wrong.
There's a lot greater risk involved there than there is investing right now a little more to see if you can get all these other hurdles.
Well, it's just kind of a cart before the horse. Either way I go.
Exactly. I understand that.
Okay.
But the purchase prices of the land is going to be significantly more than these tests and so forth.
For what it's worth, I'm agreeing with Mr. Cunningham wholeheartedly. So I'm afraid if we were to make a motion tonight, I would agree with him and probably deny this petition. If we deny it, probably in its entirety, have you come back again in 3-6 months when you have more plans to put together, or postpone it for 3 or 6 months or whatever, so you have time to put your facts and figures together and drawings the right way and work with the neighborhood and see what you come up with. Your choice.
I agree as well.
Mike, you have anything to add?
Yeah, come to the mic.
Yeah, if you could come up and state your name and address for the record, please, before you comment.
No.
No new evidence, just your comments on.
My name's Mike Krimp, and I represent the seller on this property. And it is subject to you approving it, but also subject to the septic. Well, it's subject to several things. So if you're willing to give us a little more time, then we can work on getting extensions and meet with the residents that have their concerns, and maybe we can go forward with it.
I think we would love to give you some additional time.
would you want us to come in with a proposal for the water issues?
Well, you need a clearer plan than what you have right now. Definitely, because no pun intended, it doesn't even hold water. No pun intended.
I think what the board is saying is that if you do some due diligence, even if you don't have to spend the money right now, but go talk to MS4, go talk to the city or the county highway, talk to the building department, talk to everybody involved, and find out what your issues or your non-issues might be, and it'll be better for you before we proceed or you proceed with the whole project.
That's all we can do.
I agree. So if the board is in agreement for a postponement,
time frame,
or table it,
60, 90 days, whatever. 6 months. What do you need?
6 months.
6 months.
Or 6 months or up to, yeah.
Up to 6 months.
Up to. Yeah.
So
for now, if you're going to table it to a date certain, so we all know it.
Yeah.
So all the remonstration will win.
And I will need that in the form of a motion, please. I just felt like Alex Trebek.
I'll make a motion that we table the petition for variance for use. David Kessling Seller and Journey Church Ministries Perfect Buyer for the construction of a building of a church facility. Property located at 1755 North 500 West, LaPorte, Indiana, Center Township, Zone A, 12.24 acres.
You got the dates here.
Thank you.
And how long out do you think we should give them? 20 months. 6 months. Today is 5/21. Here.
October 15th, 2019.
Table through October 15th, 19th, is it?
Yep. October 15th.
October 15th is the meeting date.
So then do we have to petition again to be on the agenda?
No, you'll probably be the first ones on the agenda.
Okay.
So I have a motion from Greg to postpone or table until the October 15th meeting.
I just wondered if they could come back anytime before then, or we make it
anytime before then, but not past. We'd like them.
But
if they come in before then, you're going to need to give notice to everybody and publish. Okay.
Yep. Otherwise,
if you go coming back in the 19th, you won't have to do that. Okay. Because all your neighbors need notice if you're going to come back.
Okay. So if you're coming back before October 15th, you're going to re-notice all the neighbors. If not, then you'll be here on October 15th at the 6 o'clock meeting.
And I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Madam Chair, if I might give maybe the neighborhood a little direction. MS4, Rick Brown, Bob Young, County Highway. Those are the two people you need to start talking to. I would also talk to Tony Hendricks, County Surveyor. The county's going to come a long way the last few years in assisting the neighborhood with drainage issues, but you have more than one player. And they're very cooperative, and if you get everybody together in a room, they might be able to come up with a solution for the whole area on where to drain it and where to put it. MS4 Rick Brown.
He's at the Soil and Water Conservation Building.
I know, because I know when I was county attorney, we solved 3 water issues in the county that had been existing for years. But it took all those departments together to do it.
So now's the time.
Yeah.
So now's the time.
Strike while
There you go.
Okay, so we're going to move along. I'm going to give everybody a moment to exit the room.
Everybody left?
Yep. And petition number 8, the petition for variance of developmental standards for Douglas and Susan Barnes to request the splitting of 14.78 acres into 2 parcels, having 300 feet of road frontage and 2 acres, and the other having 100 foot of road frontage and 12.78 acres. With the 12.78 acres being deemed a buildable lot for the property located at 2232 West, 800 North, Michigan City, Springfield Township, zoned ag with 14.78 acres.
No, Bishop, you just second. You want to talk about something? Very much. Thumbs up. Sign it or what? I'm gonna tell him right now. Let's talk.
No sacred.
Thank you. Good evening. What would you like to do with the splitting of your two parcels?
I would like to allow for someone to build on the back end of our property, which is a meadow and adjoining woods, and to have access to that property with 100 feet of frontage to the road.
And I apologize. I need to get your name and address
Susan
for the
Barnes,
record.
2232 West 800 North Michigan City.
Thank you, Susan. I get kind of excited and I tend to... So the one buildable lot, what are you going to do with the second lot, the remaining acreage?
We have our home there.
That's where you're going to continue to. And if we were to grant this, you're not going to have any further subdivision of the larger parcel where your home is at?
No.
I'm going to have to smack the freezer.
That was in our packet. Is it going to make this a flag?
Can I ask a question?
Do you have a drawing that's going to show the actual split, the shape of the?
Just our packet.
It's in.
Don't have.
Right.
I apologize.
I don't want to show it to you. Stars and stripes.
I like the 100 feet though. I'm willing to compromise.
Yes, she is.
Do we have any remonstrators this evening for petition number 8? Anybody for or against petition number 8? Any comments, questions, or concerns of the board?
I have a question. So we really rarely do a variance like this because you have the ability to make an equal 200-foot split, having no need for a variance. I mean, if you just split one and each having 200 feet,
If there's 200 feet, then that would give somebody the ability to build a home right next to our home, and we'd like to keep our space. We'd like to...
So you're saying that if somebody builds a home, you want it way back behind you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But you own all the land.
Yes.
You could do a deed restriction.
I was saying, I feel like there's a better way for this.
I wasn't aware of that.
So if you sell the land to somebody, you could require that they build it, put a setback in. If you speak to an attorney, there's several ways you can restrict one's ability to build next to your home if you own the land originally. So there's more than one way to do this.
Okay, and this is not an okay way?
Well, that's up to them.
Okay.
It's a hard way.
It's really
creating a hardship
It's
way.
not. I mean, like I said, it's not consistent in what we do. It's not. There's no hardship, and he's just made one more reason why there is no hardship. So there's really no way that we feel that we should make an action for a variance. Personally.
I'd also like to ask, is there a survey available? Is it actually 400 foot of frontage?
There is 400 feet of frontage, yes.
Well, let's see. 2.
If you went the other 100 feet over, does that involve septic or well?
It may involve our well.
But we don't know for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
The well is pretty close to our house.
Not likely.
It's not likely then. Okay.
There's a picture of the
well.
Excuse me.
Oh, yeah. There's a picture of the wellhead.
Yeah.
No problem. Not even close. Okay.
My only concern is I would like to see a survey or something that shows the actual split, and maybe, I hate to say, table you until the next meeting, but give you an opportunity to explore some other opportunities with the property and how to handle this situation, and make sure this is really what you do and you're not pigeonholing yourself into a hardship situation later.
I agree with Melissa. Instead of creating a hardship upon yourself that we can't foresee, maybe council would be your best bet to talk to.
Okay.
Suggestion.
But I'm afraid I have to suggest that we that we simply make a decision here because, I mean, we came with a simple request. It's not something we commonly do.
Right.
There's not a hardship. So,
Okay.
for that reason.
Make a motion.
I don't see the need to postpone
not yet.
I'm going to ask again if there are remonstrators for petition number 8. Hearing none. There are no further questions or comments or concerns of the board.
Could you explain to me again, if I would, what you, sir?
Get a lawyer, man. A lawyer can explain it to you. Yeah. We can't give you legal advice here.
Okay.
But if you watch the tape, you kind of already did, so you can have some idea what to ask your lawyer when you get there.
Okay.
So if there are no further comments, questions, or concerns of the board, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that the petition for variance of developmental standards for Douglas and Susan Barnes be denied, splitting the parcel unevenly into a 300 and 100-foot parcel. The property is located at 2232 West, 800 North, Michigan City, Springfield Township, 14.78 acres.
Okay, I have a motion on the table. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second to deny the petition for developmental standards for Douglas and Susan Barnes. Any further questions or comments? All those in favor of denying, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? All right, so we're going to deny your petition. Thank you. All right. Petition number 9 withdrew, so number 10, petition for variance of developmental standards for Brandon Fiesel to construct a 24 feet by 32 feet pole barn on the side of the house instead of the rear for the property located at 1322 South Walnut Street, LaPorte, Indiana, Scipio Township, zoned R1B.
9 withdrew, right? Didn't table, just withdrew.
Yeah, when I withdrew.
Yep, withdrew.
Withdrew.
This one Barnes here, right? Yeah.
I know, I like that. Maybe Emery should get in touch with her and tell her she can still do it.
Yeah, she can reapply. You're an attorney. Yeah.
We skipped this one. Annie, we skipped this one.
We're in 10 here. I can't make it out.
We're in 10.
Yeah, we don't need that.
Yes, I guess the feeling she was being a little stuck or one thing.
Great job.
Good job.
Say, how many years did you deny me this privilege? I'm teasing.
Susan Burns.
I know.
Oh, man, I gotta get that one back.
She may have been ready before we don't hear
I appreciate it.
Could have been.
Denying yourself never hurt you.
That's right. 3 times.
Yeah, I didn't. I thought this was pulled. She should have pulled it.
You know, birds growing, do you?
Okay.
Choose copy.
And this goes in there.
He really has heart upset. It's so anxious. Tell me what he said. All his family, his friends, I know. His drinking buddies, they're all there. Yeah.
I think that's the parcel I was thinking of when I said.
Well, this is odd because this one doesn't show the building. Maybe I was on the wrong property, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't.
Notice adequate.
Thank you. If you would give us your name and address for the record, please.
Brandon Fiesel, 1322 South Walnut Street, LaPorte, Indiana.
What was the address again?
1322.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Walnut Street.
Yeah, 1322 South.
Brandon, before we get started here, because someone's going to ask you, are you sure this garage is big enough?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So let's talk about the need for the garage and exterior and things like that. Give us some details.
I'd like to construct 24 by 32, so 24 wide, 32 deep. On the rear, on the side of my house instead of the rear. I'm in a corner lot, so I have no space. But I have space on the side of the lot.
And you've already started construction on this building? Yes. Is it forward of the residence?
No. I'm not. Do you guys have this? This is a drawing that I did.
Yeah, I think we have that too.
So it's set back behind. Well, I think about
actually a septic field between the two, so it had to go that far away.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Sorry,
It's like it's blending in.
Yeah.
Is there water and electric in there?
I may put electric in eventually. I will not put water in. No.
So this is going to be strictly for storage, yes. No residential living quarters in there?
No, not at all.
So this is going to be the third auxiliary building on the property as well?
This will be one. I tore down the old one.
There already?
There's one. The one is like that shows up on the picture was one I put up over the winter. Goes up and down. So I haven't used that in a couple of years.
And one of the back is gone?
Yes. So it's basically in almost the same spot. It's just moved forward. So the old one was 24 feet long. So this one's 24 feet wide, but comes towards the road.
So Anne Marie, how much of a hardship is this going to be for the inspections? He's going to have to dig up some poles and show there's foundations under the poles, or?
I think one of the inspectors has been out there already.
Yeah.
Do you have any concerns?
I wasn't told of any, no.
Okay.
Do we have any remonstrators for this petition? Any remonstrators for or against? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion for the
question. Are you building it yourself?
That's my question.
Yeah, with help from I have contractor friends, but I don't have a licensed body contractor doing the work.
It looks pretty straight.
It does. I apologize. Are there any further comments, questions, or concerns of the board? If not, I will entertain a motion.
I do have one question. I apologize. If we had an inspector out there, has this been like either red flagged or said hold up until you get permission? That's why he's here. Correct.
Yes.
Thank
it
you.
was red flagged, and I haven't touched it since.
That's exactly what I wanted to know. Thank you very much.
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion that the petition for variance of developmental standards for Brandon Fiesel to construct a pole barn being 24 by 32 on the side of the house instead of the rear be granted. This property is located at 1322 South Walnut Street, LaPorte, Indiana, Scipio Township, zoned R1B.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Good luck.
Good luck. You can continue your structure. Okay, petition number 11 is a variance of developmental standards for Joseph and Teresa to construct a second accessory structure with a height of 25 feet instead of the maximum 18 and to the side of the home instead of the rear. Your property is located at 7531 North Elder Lane, New Carlisle, Indiana, Hudson Township, zoned R1B. And you can present your legal work to our attorney.
Good evening.
Nope, give me just a moment. Let's make sure your legal work is in order.
Okay.
You didn't get any cards back up?
No, I have not. Do you have the rest of this file or no? You have anything else? Because
What's that? No, I'm groaning because you didn't put names on here. Oh. Part of what I do is confirm people got notice.
I have a list for you.
I have a list.
Okay.
That last petition is the one I was thinking of in Westville. I had that.
All right, Madam President, what we have publication, and we have proofs of mailing for the same number of people which required notice. However, I have nothing to show who they mailed it
to.
So the board does have discretion, and he did show me proof that they did mail to 7 people, certified mail.
You don't have a list of those at all?
I have
So I have the list here.
Of who you mailed them to?
Yes.
But we just have a list. Yeah.
Same list I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I think we'll go ahead and, if it's the pleasure of the board, take it.
Yeah, if we can do this, can you affirm that you sent all these certified mails to the persons on this list and attached the petition?
Yes.
Okay. Right, good.
Very good. So would you state your name and address for the record, please?
Floyd Gilbert, 9958 North, 375 West, Michigan City, Indiana, 46360.
All right, let's hear about this petition, and you got a lot of things going on in there.
Yes. What they're wanting is a pole barn. It's 40 by 40. And what we're trying to do is get the height. As far as property lines, we're good as far as sticking within code and beyond. But as far as the height, we're trying to get higher because it's a 14-foot ceiling, because it's a storage use only, and electric, and maybe water. At this point, I'm not sure if they're going to go with the water or not. But it's a 14-foot ceiling because of their RV to fit that in there. So, and then with a 612 pitch, that puts us over the 18.
I think you broke that down quite nicely.
Well, thank you.
If you're going to ask for water, now you need a variance for water. So now's the time to ask. Ask whether you do it or not. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, let's just go with that. We're going to go with water.
And there will be no living quarters, living space, residential area, and they're only for storage.
Yes.
In the purpose of the storage built for motorhome, you said?
Motorhome, and I guess they bought a pontoon boat.
Oh.
That's something they live on Saginaw Lake.
Pontoon boats out there in the yard.
Right.
Did we see anything with what is the exterior of the structure going to be?
It's going to be a post frame, but the exterior is going to be a vinyl siding, and the roof is going to be asphalt shingles, architectural.
Okay, and blend with the existing home.
Pardon?
It's going to blend in with the existing
and
home.
It's going to match the colors, the roof, and the siding. It's all going to blend in.
Okay.
Is that correct? The size is 40 by 40?
Pardon?
40 foot by 40 foot?
Yes. I have a sketch.
And 25 foot?
Yeah, well, it's going to be, I went with 25, but we're going to probably be around 24, maybe 24.2. But I figure I'll go 25 foot. That'll clear me to where I'm covered. Because
Yeah, the door's got to go up into the pocket to get the motorhome in, yeah. Yeah. 40 by 40. This size.
If I went with a 412 pitch, which could lower that a little bit, but the 612 is what they want.
enough
You wouldn't have clearance on top.
Yeah.
For the motorhome. 13 something, 13.6 to get in there. They're about.
But they do have huggers for openers.
Yeah, I know.
You can use a hugger.
You're better off having space versus huggers.
Yeah.
Space.
So while everyone's kind of, go ahead.
I mean, that actually fits in there. I mean, this picture doesn't. I don't understand how it fits without. You tell me you're going to leave the trees.
There's 2 lots there. Yeah, see where the trees are? Here's the house. Here's trees. Pole barn's right here on this side.
Yeah, I understand that, but I know what 40 feet is too.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I think a couple of those pine trees are coming out.
That makes more sense. I understand. Otherwise, like he's saying, you'd be kind of cramming it in there.
It was right there. When Joseph was talking about, I'll just cut some of these branches. And I informed him, but those branches are going to be rubbing your shingles. So
otherwise, he starts
he's going to take those out.
Over here.
That.
Yeah.
Do we have any remonstrators this evening for the petition for the second accessory structure? Any remonstrators for or against? Hearing none. Are there any additional concerns, questions, or comments on the board? If not, then I'd love to entertain a motion.
I'll give you a motion then. How do you say the last name?
G-I-L?
No, the owner.
The homeowner.
Yeah. I'll let you try it.
Hovenick?
Okay, I'll go with that.
Yeah, me too.
Petition for a variance of the developmental standard for Joseph and Teresa, like he said, to construct a second accessory structure with a height of 25 feet instead of the minimum 18 feet. His building is going to be 40 by 40 is what he's saying, and that this property is located at 7531 North Elder Lane, New Carlisle, down in Hudson, Zone R1B, to be approved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
He asked for water, I think.
Electricity.
Yeah.
Water and electric to be
Also, siding and roofing
Asphalt shingling. Be noted that was what they said they would do.
to approximate match the home.
And not to be used as a residence.
There you go.
Thank you.
Wow, you made a really good motion.
Thank you. That's all in there now.
There we go. Great.
I will second it.
Okay. Do you agree with the amended
It sounded
motion?
just sweet.
All right. So I have an amended motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Good luck.
Just read the tape back so you know what's going on.
Thank you.
Okay, petition number 12 is a variance of developmental standards for Cynthia Brigman Bloom to construct a new home with a setback of 10 feet instead of the required 25 feet for the property located at 3402 Iroquois Trail, Michigan City, Indiana, Michigan Township, zoned R1B. Did petition number 6 just leave?
This one's I think he's in the hall.
He's still trying to run home.
Okay.
Come back, he said. Until we close, that's what he said.
Oh, is this it?
Number 4.
Oh, okay.
Doo-doo, doo-doo.
You got it. Yeah,
11.
You got 11. Think. No.
Oh, see, this is what I'm talking about.
You know, this one's really, I thought was interesting.
I love getting nice.
When you went out and looked at these, all these message to me, cinder block is my base.
They bought that for something. Okay.
And he didn't ask for this, but I'm going to add more
Notice is adequate.
water.
Thank you. If you would state your name and address for the record, please.
John Spalding, Spalding Design Group, 106 Lincoln Way East, Mishawaka, Indiana.
This is there's an existing home here already, correct?
There is.
And it's sizable. So
There is. Care to elaborate?
I want to hear all about this. I want to see some.
That's small for the houses that we've been tearing down lately.
Do you have any sketches you'd like to show us?
Sure.
Let's start with that. Please.
With total gone or replaced.
Thank you. Proposed. Planning bill.
So it'll be totally gone and replaced?
Yeah. New septic, new well. Or actually, it's on city water.
City water.
I would say that.
City water, but no septic. Or no well. Sewer.
Look at this. Fireplace, everything.
No, it's amazing.
Being that porch off the master bedroom, or like this fireplace and everything outside.
Because some of these people are coming tomorrow.
All right, John, give us a minute to all ooh and ah.
Take your time.
This house is huge. Getting a view over that.
It's gonna be tough.
Is that gonna have a beach view?
There's a peekaboo view between two homes.
Depending on the seasons.
Yeah, correct. Actually, there are pine trees in that one nested area, so they've got a view year-round because they're lower. And they're steps away from the water.
So to be clear, we're only looking at a variance on the front 25-foot setback. But that's kind of partial. It's kind of corner of the residence.
Yeah.
The porch and the patio.
I'm sorry?
I'm just making sure we're clear for the record.
We got it here too.
No, that side yard. It's fine. It's only the 25-foot setback in the front. That's just for the corner of the residence.
Just for Iroquois.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's all we're looking for. And I know that in the R1E, there's a stipulation in the zoning that allows for the shorter road or the longer road to be a side yard. They don't do it in R1B, but this is, you're right in R1E territory.
Yep.
This is all lakefront area.
Well, I think my opinion is this is kind of consistent in that area to, have less than adequate side front setback.
Yep.
Are there any remonstrators this evening for petition number 12? Either for or against?
This is a beautiful home. Thank you.
Madam President, I want to commend this couple for sitting through the entire meeting.
We want to commend you. We've never been.
Okay.
Well, that is patience then.
The patience of Job.
You don't even know what kind of answer you're going to get.
True or false? Get over it.
Well, I have no remonstrators, so if there are no comments, questions, or concerns of the board, I would entertain a motion.
I've always been consistent with you on not liking to grant these setbacks, but I mean, the drawing and the size of the lot limits them, and again, the question of which is the road, they're still staying well beyond the setback on the other two sides, and I mean, it's just actually a corner of the house.
I agree.
So, for that reason, I would like to make a motion that the petition for a variance of developmental standards for Cynthia Brigham Bloom be granted to construct a new home with a setback of 10 feet instead of the required 25 feet. This property is located at 3402 Iroquois Trail, Michigan City, Indiana, Michigan Township, Zone R1B.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. All those in... Carol has a question.
Make a note that there are no remonstrators because probably most of the neighbors are in violation of the setbacks as well.
I have to.
I thought about that.
Good point.
And future clients, I will.
So,
That's the first stop.
all those in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Hearing none. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
It's going to be beautiful.
Thanks for adding it to our tax.
That's absolutely right.
Make a motion now.
I think we need to have...
Mr. Schweitzer was going to try to run home and find that affidavit and get back. He wasn't sure if we'd be done or not, so I told him if he doesn't get back before we're done, we'll set it over for next month. So I would ask the chair to entertain some type of motion to table it till next month.
Put it away.
Madam President, make a motion to table the petition to the June meeting for the developmental standards of Toby H. and Jennifer L. Schweitzer for construction of a third accessory structure 60 feet by 230 feet. I think the other paperwork said 120.
120.
One said 120. One of them said 120, one said 230, so we get that cleared up before the June meeting. With an, but I'm going to go with the 230 since that's what that's the bigger number. With an indoor horse arena for personal use with a height of 20 feet instead of the maximum 18 feet. Property located at 4059 North, 350 East, Rolling Prairie, Indiana, Kankakee Township, zoned R1B on 5 acres.
Second. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor of tabling, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Motion passed. Before you ask your question, is it in regards to a petition that we heard this evening?
Yeah, last month. The one you're going to table till next.
We're going to have to ask you to wait until next month to ask those questions.
I just got to know just one question.
Attorney BG.
What do you call personal use? That's all you got to answer. Personal use.
That means just the family uses it.
Just for the family.
Yeah.
Nobody else.
Well, I mean friends or something, but you can't rent stuff out. No.
You can't rent anything out? You can bring friends in, so-called friends, and let them use it. He's going to build an arena.
We're not. Nope.
We're not.
You can't talk about it if he's not here. It's not fair. Okay.
Personal use. That would be just family, right?
It could depend. You're not gonna. Myself or the board. You're not gonna ask a bunch of leading questions to drill us into something. Okay. Personal use is it's the normal, ordinary definition of the term. Okay. Personal use. That means they use it. Their friends can use it. We're not gonna put limitations on that. Personal use is different than commercial business. Commercial use is when you're making a profit off the enterprise. Okay. We're gonna set it over till next month.
Well, I mean, how do we know what date it is that's going
Well,
June 18th.
June 18th.
June 18th at 6 p.m.
Yep.
Attorney BG, do you have any further business for the board?
No, ma'am.
Anne Marie?
Pardon me?
Do you have any further business for the board this evening?
No, I do not.
And Ashley, welcome aboard.
I wanted to ask you all if you've met her. She's been with us a short time, and she has done outstanding already.
Wonderful. I think we all enjoyed your minutes. I enjoyed your agenda with the parcel numbers.
Oh, I did too. I wanted to make that comment. Having those parcel numbers is so easy for us to go to.
It does help.
No questions.
Thank you. All right. Well, if there's no other business, I would like to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make a motion. We adjourn.
All in favor?
Hey.
Aye. Thank you. Have a good night.